much time do you waste setting up repetitive storage jobs, scrubs, snapshot syncs, or worse, even forgetting one? With Houston's task scheduler, you can automate all of it and more in just a few clicks. Howdy folks, Zach Perry back here again with another 45 HomeLab video. We're going to cover everything to do with the task scheduler that's built in Houston. And today, one thing I want to touch on is data loss, because a lot of the tasks that we can do in it are purpose-built to protect against it and provide multiple ways to recover if the worst happens. Data loss comes in many forms: drive failures, corruption, accidental deletion, and catastrophic events, meteor coming down, wiping out the whole building that all your data is housed in. So that's why the modern file system / volume manager, OpenZFS, is so well known in enterprise. It was built to guard against exactly these kind of perils. It's also central to our best practice reference architecture for standalone servers. And if you're interested in a deeper dive on that, check out my colleague Brett Kelly's video on the enterprise channel. I've linked that in the description down below. And here's the best part. Because OpenZFS is open source, that same proven technology is also accessible at home on our fully built, burned-in HL15, HL8, and HL4 models. ZFS comes pre-installed with Houston, giving you an intuitive click-and-point setup tightly integrated with 45 HomeLab hardware. Now, this is one of my favorite Houston cockpit tools we've released in the past year, where it comes into play. The Houston Task Scheduler, built in-house by our R&D team, completely open source and available at the link below, also in the description. And today I'll show you how this module makes it easy to set up, well, a whole bunch of different things. Safeguards against data loss, backup data offsite with ZFS replication tasks to another private server, maybe at a family or friend's house. Automate snapshots so you can roll back deleted or changed files. Schedule drive health checks and scrubs to catch corruption before it becomes a problem. And set up connection to cloud storage to push or pull data to and from your cloud provider of choice. So let's dive into setting these tasks up. All right, now that we're in our task schedule here, we can see it's a little barren, no tasks found, but let's change that up here. So let's go over to our actual main HomeLab system here, where I already have one configured, and this is our Cloud Sync. So let's actually go in and we'll go through each of these here, and just the type that we have templated right now: ZFS replication, automated snapshot task, Rsync, scrub, smart, cloud sync task, and custom. So we're going to start with the ZFS replication task, and very easy to set up. So we'll select our pool, we'll select our data set here, our retention policy. And the great thing is too, if you're unclear about anything, a lot of these do have little informational buttons on them. So we're going to keep all snapshots, and we'll be able to do our transfer method over SSH or Netcat. We're going to input our remote server, because this is primarily for sending over snapshots that are on this system to another. So if you were going to do this, you would already have your ZFS snapshots being taken, but we'll get to that in just a few. So we're going to test SSH here. We can get the prompt that it is able to see it, able to see the data set. All ports are open. So then we'll select our target location, and we're going to go tanks backup. Same thing, 0 there. We have some send options, set our end buffer size. So we'll call this rep task. And there we go. And then it will, let's see what we got. Task name can only contain letters, numbers. All right, so easy enough. There we go, rep task. And now we can actually schedule it and have some presets here as well. So let's say we want to do hourly. And so it'll go every day, every hour. We save the interval at the start of the hour, every day, every month, every year. Now we'll save that schedule. Yes. And what's a replication task, either local or to a remote system, if we don't have snapshots being taken in the first place? So let's actually do that first. So automated, we'll select tank again, we'll select our data set and our retention policy. So same thing, it will keep all the snapshots. You can use a custom schema here. So we'll call this snap schedule. And same thing, we're gonna add that, yes. We'll keep it at the same thing, so hourly, and then we will go through, save schedule, and then that one is good there. And this is just going to be a brief overview of all of these templated tasks that you can do within the scheduler. If you want kind of more of a deep dive, because I know there is a lot of options here, especially when we go to our next one, like Rsync tasks. If you want me to break everything in these down a little bit more, let me know in the comments down below. So let's go to this, we'll call it Rsync, it'll be an Rsync task. Now, let's say we want to, we're not doing ZFS, let's say we want to send the file system over of our boot drives, let's say they're running something else, or we can do, let's say, /mount let's just send /mount over everything within there. And then we'll do our actual target here. So we want to put it in /mount/ and backup mount. And host, we'll send it over to the same one, 54.88. And again, we'll test our SSH. Same thing, all good. And we can either do a push or pull. We're gonna push our data over. And then we have our Rsync options here where we'll leave them as a default for now. Then we have our advanced options. And then we'll add that task. And again, actually, let's change it up a little bit. So we'll do every hour, and let's see if I can remember this properly. And 30, save interval at the start of the hour, every 30 hours. Not quite what I wanted. This is where something like Cron Guru would come in, or even ChatGPT at this point, I mean, where you can say, hey, I want to do an Rsync at, or cron job at this interval here, but let's go and save that interval so it'll be every hour. And you can add multiple is the other thing as well. So if you have tasks that need to go at different times, but we'll only have our every 30-hour one for whatever reason. So let's save that one. And I mean, it's only been a few minutes here, so I mean, we have already a few different tasks set up here. The next one that we'll set up is our scrub task. So this is ensuring that you don't run into any of those perils of bit rot, ensuring that these scrubs are done at a timely manner, usually monthly, some like to do it bi-weekly, but let's go and select that, and we'll just select our pool and add task. And if we want this to be monthly, we can have it take place on a certain day. So let's actually go and let's say Saturday, the start of the hour at midnight on the first of the month, every year on Saturday. So yeah, you can play around with these a little bit, but we'll save that. And once that one is good to go, and you can see our Rsync actually failed here, we'll take a look at that and how the task scheduler actually handles errors, how you can troubleshoot them, but let's just keep pushing on through. So I think the next one is, yeah, our smart test. So we're gonna have quite a few disks within here. We can go to our actual, we'll call this just smart CTL. We'll keep them very simple. And we can select which disk we actually want to get a reading on. So these are all the disks some are in our Z pool, some are not. So I believe all of our disks here are 1, 2, 3, and 4. And yeah, I believe that's it. Actually, this one as well. So then we can select a test here. So immediate offline test, that's your smart CTL -A, -X, etc. Short tests and long tests, which are getting into really check if there's any disks with underlying issues that maybe the offline test didn't get there, can cause a disconnection while it's doing that or temporarily. And your conveyance test, which I believe is checking for any kind of internal damage, maybe from shipping or anything like that. So we'll do an immediate offline test. We can actually add notes here. So smart CTL checks for tank Z pool. And then we can add that task. And we want these to, if we want those run daily, we can set that now. The S3 or the Cloud Sync task, I already have one of those made here. And so we have quite a few options that we can actually select. You can see the Wasabi logo right there. And let's go in actually edit our task and we can manage our existing. So I already have a remote here and we'll select that. All right, so we already have that set up here. We created our bucket, our user, everything like that on the Wasabi side of things. You can also set up, let's say if we want to do a new one, it's not just Wasabi, there's Dropbox, Microsoft Azure, Backblaze, Amazon S3, to a Ceph bucket, lots and lots of options there. But you can see we have our existing remote here. We can do a copy, move sync, our local path, and then our target path, and then we can also do some rclone options and our advanced options here as well. So we'll close that, and then I think our last one here is, let's see, yeah, custom tasks. So if we want to, let's say, take a look at our zpool status, and we're going to get an output of it every once a day there, just to output to a file. So we'll do one that is very, very simple. You can put your own script via the full path in here, or you can do custom commands. So we will keep this very elementary and for my own sake, and do zpool status, and we'll have it append that output to zpool. Actually, let's go to /home/zack/zpool.txt. So yeah, now we have our zpool status here. It hasn't run yet. Let's take a look. So manage schedule, edit task, got that there. And let's say we don't want to wait, especially on the 30-hour one, to make sure that our task is actually valid, that it's running. So one thing that we can do is actually go to run now, and let's click run now. Yes, so if it does fail, we can take a look very, very easily. So active pending, and then we can view our logs here. So we can get a live view or historical view of everything that is going on. And if it were to fail here, so I know we have our Rsync that failed here, but one that's a little more interesting is our Wasabi. So let's actually make this one fail. Let's say I just had a mistype, something simple like that. So let's go, and we'll change this backups to backup. So that doesn't exist on my Wasabi instance, so we'll save that, yes. And now let's run it, and then we can view the logs here. So you can see it's starting a service. That's another thing. It'll create a systemd service, so it can run these all at a specific time, a specific interval. So that way, if it fails, we can check it here, and we can check it in the services tab off to the side here. So actually, while that does its thing in the background there, let's go and we can take a look at this later, but let's look at our snap schedules. So we want those to start sending right now, and we will check over our snap schedule on the other system there. So have our snaps, and then we want to send over our replicated data, and we'll run now. Now let's see if that created a snapshot for us. All right, that is good. All right, so we have two snapshots here that we can see. So let's go over onto our home lab, and our other home lab, I should say, and see if those are on there. And we can see we have 600 and, let's see, oh, that's actually our other one there. So let's go here. All right, now we're in our one that we should be in. There we go. Now let's take a look. ZFS. Okay, we can see it's 1% used right now. We have 2.26 gigs used here. So let's do a quick refresh, and we can see that it's going up there. So if we look at our file system, just because it is currently sending them, might not see them right away yet, but we can verify a few moments there that that's all good. But let's go back over here and see if our task scheduler has failed on our Wasabi instance. A few logs. Yeah, so we can see here that it tries to look forward, it's scheduling a restart, tries to do it again here. So then it says that, okay, it doesn't exist, access denied because it doesn't exist there. And then if we want to kind of get a little bit more information on it, so to see what services it's dependent on, if that's the kind of, that's what caused it to fail, we can go to the services here and kind of get a larger view of what's happening. So this is the systemd service that it created, and we can get some information on what actually happened. Now, if your biggest concern is protecting against those perils of data loss, we also have a fantastic storage wizard setup tool that will auto-discover your 45 home lab system, walk you through the initial setup, guide you through creating your users, shares, so setting up snapshots and backups is a breeze. And that's the Houston Task Scheduler in a nutshell, an easy to use, open source way to manage and automate your tasks, to protect your precious data, and just automate all the things that you need to. So what'd you think? We'll be adding this to your cockpit setup. Anything you'd like to see added, let us know in the comments down below. If you want to see everything we have on offer, head on over to store.45homelab.com. All of our socials and everything we talked about is down below. And that's about it. See ya. How much time do you waste setting up